Welcome to the Just Jim Radio Show. Glad you could join us. Another beautiful day in paradise, at least where I am. And we're here to offer inspiration, information, to bring ideas and concepts to you that might allow for you to experience yourself a little bit differently, a little more fulfillment in your life. Maybe have you see life a little bit differently than you have before, or a different view of it, so that you can begin to look at what really matters, make decisions that are good for you and your life, and make a difference in your life so you can make a difference in the world. There's so much going on. I'm Jim. I've been focusing on giving of myself through service by helping people find their own inspiration, their own passion, their own purpose, their own goals in life, and helping them achieve them on a personal level or a spiritual level. I'm the pastor at Sarasota Center of Light, Reverend Jim there and Just Jim here. So now we're here to do what we always do, bring direct, open, clear information and inspiration to those who listen to help make a difference. This week's topic is spiritual practicality. It might sound like a reverse on a topic that's frequently spoken about, practical spirituality. And no, it's not just a twist on words. There's more to it than that. The reason why it's the topic of today's show. We have so many things going on in our lives. We're always looking for ways to make it a little easier, a little better. Again, another reason for the show. We certainly can, in a practical way, set goals, can make plans, schedule things, prioritize things, manage our time. All of these things are very important in our practical lives. And what we're really looking for is a way to experience whatever we're doing with more freedom, more joy, more fulfillment. And so it seems like sometimes that setting of goals and that making of plans and scheduling our time, which we don't seem to have enough of, and trying to prioritize, which should I do first? What should I do next? What's going to be the best? Manage this time we don't seem to have enough of, literally can feel like it takes away our freedom, our joy, and our fulfillment. It's almost like we crowd our lives with so many things that we're not paying attention to how we're doing that and the way that we're making those plans and goals. Many of us try to change what's already in our lives, like a sculptor trying to reshape a lump of clay. You know, it's like it already is what it is, and then we're trying to make it look or feel or be different. We know there's more to life than wrestling with it or trying to manage it. And so rather than trying to recreate the wheel, so to speak, the wheel's already created, how can we make the wheel spin easier? How can we get to where we're going and experience what we're experiencing with more grace, more ease, more freedom, joy, and fulfillment? Well, if we look at spiritual practicality, practical is doing. Practical is how we show up in our lives and get things done and make things happen. It's important that we do that. It's important that we are active in our lives. We can certainly get in touch with our spirit or our spiritual by being quiet and connected, but we're living right here in the middle of conditional reality with things going on that need to be dealt with and done. But are we focusing on the practical doing? Or as we look at spiritual, as being? Well, as in most things, it's a balance of the two. If we're looking at putting the practical first and the spiritual last, what's that going to feel like? What's that going to look like? Or how is that going to affect how we experience ourselves? Are we out there doing, making, or are we allowing and being with that? That's really the key to the topic of the show. The true solution to our practical lives, in order to have what we're really looking for from it or in it, is to bring something inspiring into the mix. Inspiration, our passion, our purpose, tapping into what that means to us. These aren't tangible, practical things. They're the reflection of who we are within, showing up in these circumstances and situations of our world that we're trying to work with and make better and to create and manifest into and through. Letting that essence of your spirit, that passion and purpose of your heart and your soul feed you and uplift you and bring you renewal, allowing you to create new, allowing you to be open in what you're choosing to do, to bring you that encouragement and that awakening that allows for you to step out from where you've been or how you've been or how it is into something new, to bring to your practical, your spirit. We look at practical spirituality, that reverse of what we're talking about today. We're already engaged in our practical. We're already engaged in our doing, and then we're trying to, while we're in the middle of everything that we're doing, find the inspiration that we can bring to it. It's kind of like in the midst of all the distractions or situations we're going on in our lives, trying to be connected in such a way that we bring into all that activity. I liken our lives at times to be like we're in a big plastic ball filled with ping pong balls, and we've turned the fan on. And depending on how high we've got the fan going, how many plans, how many goals, however we've effectively or not scheduled our time or managed our time, would determine how many ping pong balls are flying in what direction and how high the fan is. And if each ping pong ball is just a piece of our life that we're trying to be aware of or something we're trying to create, we can't even see it for what it is. It's moving around so fast. But if we look at spiritual practicality, it's really about beginning by turning the fan off. What happens? All the ping pong balls drop down. And when they drop down, they're sitting still. Well, at least still enough for us to reach over and be able to kind of look at what they are and what's going on. In spiritual practicality, you're focusing first on your inspiration. You're focusing first on what matters and what life means to you before you're engaging, before you're making your way through the activities of your day. Talking about priorities, making inspiration, making your connection to your spirit, making this energy and essence that is creation, your essence of creation, what drives your thoughts, your feelings, your actions into creation, is making it the priority, making it most important. If you start at the origin of things, your heart and soul, if you start with that essence of who you are, then that reflected into all that you're choosing to practically do or accomplish gets filled with it. We talked a few moments ago about passion. Passion, wow, that flame that gets stirred inside of us. That we have an inspiration, we have our spirit that we're paying attention to and being with, and it shows us something. It reveals a thought or a feeling to us, and we get passionate about it. That means it's really important. It matters to us, and we bring more of who we are to it. In that moment, a thought becomes a thought form. It begins to take shape. Our passion is a flame that allows us to see more clearly and more fully, and our spirit ignites that flame. It elevates it to allow us to experience it, to see it more clearly, like our purpose. Our passion can lead to our purpose. Why? Because our passion is burning for us to see more clearly what it is that not just matters to us that we believe with our mind and our evidence and our history that we've brought to this moment, but that's welling up inside of us, from within us, this constant expression of our spirit through our soul's purpose, causing us to want to take certain pathways or certain ways of being and express ourselves that are in a way that are fulfilling and satisfying. It's truly about turning within, connecting, awakening your passion, your purpose, and bringing that meaning to your life. Rather than trying to get from life bring you to life. And that's the spiritual coming into the practical. That's the spiritual practicality, the practice of that. Well, those are all great ideas, aren't they? Some of you might be sitting over there going, well, just how do I do that, Jim? Well, there's probably as many ways to do it as there are ideas about it. But one thing that I notice that I have to focus on doing, and I counsel a lot of people, so I get to practice what I know is good for me as I share it with other people, is taking time for you. Taking time just for you, to looking at what truly matters to you, to turning within, to finding that connection, to listening to it, and to allow it to be reflected through your expression into your life. You are the catalyst for creation for you. You are the one that brings who you are and the essence of who you are into all that you've drawn to yourself to bring your inspiration, your spirit to, in order to practically have it flow. And that flow is really important, because as you allow yourself to really trust what you know deep within yourself, when you know what's emerging from that wellspring of your own knowing and being within, and not guided by the circumstances and situations you're in, or the environment you're in, or even the influences of others, and you bring yourself to it, now your spirit is beginning to shape the practical of your life. It's infusing it with passion. It's infusing it with purpose. It's infusing it with inspiration, upliftment. It's allowing you to have clarity in how you see what you're seeing and doing what you're doing. If we look at spiritual practicality, look at the spiritual aspect at a deeper and more profound level, the key is to find our own connection to the divine, to what we trust and believe in. It brings us guidance, that inspiration, that encouragement, to really look at it in whatever way it might be. Again, it's going to be different for each. Some might call it source, God, all that is, the universe. It's that essence and energy of life, of creation, of manifestation that's constantly flowing through us as a point of that creation or manifestation. Everything that's ever been created, everything that's ever been manifested, all the circumstances and situations in our lives, all around us in the world, it is what it is because each of us have walked a path, made a choice, acted in a certain manner, thought, felt, and brought whatever we did to it. The world and the condition it's in is a reflection of how each of us have come together to bring who we are to it. Well, when we look around, sometimes right now we see things, we wonder how we did what we did. And we did. We did. We are the ones responsible for how the world is. And if you look closely, although the media might be showing this or that is chaotic or discordant or difficult, if you look closely from your heart, when you look closely from your spirit, you'll see the kindness, you'll see the compassion, you'll see the understanding, you'll see those who are stirred or spurred at this point in time to want to look at their spirit and bring more of it into their practicality. The world can be changed. It can be different. If we choose to be different while we're doing what we're doing, that we're in touch and allowing ourselves to first be an expression of our spirit in all these activities of our days, and then its reflection maybe sparks or inspires someone else or reminds someone else of what's important, and we share that with a smile, we share that with a kind thought or word that we share with another. It's important to keep in mind that the spiritual or the inspirational is only half of the topic, though, today. We live in a world full of conditions and circumstances and situations and have to deal with them all the time. And so we do what we do with our goals and our plans and our priorities, these activities that turn days into weeks, weeks into months, years.